What's going on, guys? Welcome to my sailing channel, the Restless sailing channel. Just thought we'd give you guys an update on what's been going on, what we've been doing. I've got my mom out here, and yeah, this is my first time ever having anyone else on my boat, so I guess you could say it's my first crew ever. And yeah, so I've been working on the boat and getting my whole furling system squared away. I had a hard time tightening the forestay, but I eventually figured it out. I eventually figured out that you have to drill out a couple rivets and then slide the telescoping part up, and that gives you more access. And then I was able to finally tighten my forestay. So after I got that done, my mom, well, she came out.
Hi, love you. Sorry.
Good to see you. Here, I'll take this.
Okay.
Just
And that's
on
the
that
part
day.
you were waiting on.
That was the part. That was well, yeah, well, because I couldn't really, until I figured out how to tighten my forestay, wasn't really able to go out and try to go sailing too seriously. But yeah, I figured it out, and my furling system is working. And so the other day we went out, and my plan was kind of loose, but we decided we went out into the bay and we sailed a little bit. But my mom wanted to do a little bit more than that. She wanted to see the ocean, so we ended up going out to the ocean.
So you had a plan, and I didn't know that we weren't going out in the ocean. But after you had that part, then we were going to sail. But you had to be, see, I don't know anything about the boating life, and I didn't know anything about sailing. This is the first time I've really been on a sailboat. And so I didn't
So we probably didn't do enough planning. My mom was like, "Oh, I want to," she was kind of hassling me, like, "Oh, I didn't come out here to sail in the bay. I wanted to go out in the ocean." So I was like, "All right, you want to go out there? We'll go out there."
Okay.
And without enough planning, we went out into the ocean nearby, and
it was really fun at first.
It was fun. Like we had a great time.
Yeah. And the boat was working. I mean, you knew what you were doing. I love the boat. I've never been on a boat, so this whole boating life is new to me. We're not a boating family, not a sailing family, so you have learned all this on your own.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, and I've enjoyed this week. It's been a real learning curve knowing all this stuff. So
it was fun. The boat sailed really well, and in my head I was like, okay, what we're gonna try to do an entire lap around Cumberland Island. But we kind of left midday, and there probably wasn't enough time. We were probably doing this at like 1 o'clock. We were leaving out there.
I didn't even understand high
and there
tide,
probably
low
wasn't
tide.
there probably wasn't enough time to get all the way around the island before it would have gotten dark.
Yes.
But as soon as I got out there, it was kind of like, and you probably can't see it in my videos because at one point it just kind of turned into a washing machine out there, and I immediately got seasick and I was puking off the back. But
you still were able to sail, and you did a really great job. I don't think I was too scared at that point.
It wasn't too scary. It was just the seasickness that kept me from, like, we were sailing pretty good, but I was too sick to worry about sail trim or anything like that. Like, I had the sail trimmed out, but I wasn't like trying to maximize. And someone said in the comments I needed to loosen my the topping lift.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I think that was kind of preventing us from going a little bit faster, but we were moving pretty good.
We were.
But the waves were I swear the waves were coming from different directions, and the boat was just.
And you being a pilot, I do know this. I know that you plan and you look at weather and you don't let people push you, and I know I pushed you out there a little, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do, like, we weren't prepared, you know, and we were just going into the unknown. I mean, I did check the weather a little bit, but I wasn't fully aware about what the sea state was going to be, and it was pretty uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but I hadn't taken any Dramamine, and it just made me sick, and so that kind of ruined it for me. But you know, I was still like able to, you know, do everything safely, and we sailed in one direction for probably a good 10 miles before, like, I had these legs planned out, and we sailed to the first leg, and then we're like, we should probably turn around. And so we turned around, and we were sailing downwind, and then when we turned around, we were sailing on probably a close reach, or yeah, close reach.
I even think Zach got seasick. But anyway.
Zach, yeah.
So then, okay, but then it got really bad.
And then it started to get worse, yeah. And there was a storm system that was coming from inland, and so it was coming at us as we were coming back into the inlet. And my mom started freaking out because you could see the system coming towards us.
I mean, it looked like it was a tornado.
It wasn't a tornado, but there were tornado warnings going off on our phone.
It was it was going off.
Yeah.
It was saying take cover. I mean, if I were at home, I'd be in my basement.
But I didn't really see a tornado. But it looked like the clouds. It looked like it could be, but...
I mean, if I were at home, I'd be in my basement.
Yeah.
So anyways, so we see this coming, and I'm like, what the heck? What do we do? We're on water. Lightning bolts are coming at us. I mean, Gilligan's Island was flashing in my head. You're probably too young. But, I mean, so I was like, what are we going to do? So you said what?
So yeah, we were coming through, and the system was coming at us, and there was lightning, and you could see it, and it was getting windy, and the lightning was coming down, and my mom was freaking out. So at that time, we were kind of passing by one, like an 1800s fort. I forget what the name of the fort is. Fort Clinch, right?
Yeah.
And as we went by, I was like, okay, well... And I was like, all right, we'll just go towards the beach, and we'll anchor next to the beach, and then we'll go towards that fort.
And lightning bolts.
Yeah. And the lightning was coming down. It was getting pretty scary out there for a minute.
A minute. A long time.
Yeah. Well, the storm didn't last. It kind of like, you know, probably lasted like a half an hour to an hour.
That's a long time.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would have been getting soaked if I would have stayed in the cockpit and kept driving. We would have gotten soaked. The heavy rain came in, but we anchored out by the beach, and then we ran to the fort, which was kind of a cool way to see the fort.
We got in the dinghy, and we anchored out, got in the dinghy. The dinghy thing is a whole new thing for me. I didn't even know dinghies existed until you got your boat. So we got in the dinghy. I have bruises up and down my legs, but not from that episode, but the dinghy thing is something you have to get used to.
Getting in and out of the boat.
You know, when we go to shore, we get our groceries, we get our ice, we go to, you know, all this stuff. You know, so the dinghy thing is a news for me. So I know you're used to it. But anyway, so we got in the dinghy, lightning bolts coming down. It felt like it was hailing. You said it wasn't. I said it was. Anyways, and then we go to shore, and then we run barefoot.
Yeah, we were running barefoot, and the rain was soaking us.
So yes.
But the water was really warm. Water has been really warm in this area, but it was fun. And we like took shelter in Fort Clinch, and then waited for the storm to pass. And then when the storm passed, we went back and kept going. But we had a good day of sailing, and it was fun. I'm finally, you know, starting to really get comfortable sailing this boat. I guess that was the first time I had taken it onto the ocean. I had sailed around the bay and stuff, and I've sailed on the ICW, but I had never been kind of on the ocean with the boat. But it went well, other than getting seasick and the lack of planning that day. But
you kept your
I hope that, you know, I hope that I can experience, you know, better conditions that aren't so punishing. But it didn't really discourage me. I know that it's not always like that, and I probably should have taken Dramamine before we left.
But you did great. I mean, sailing, it was waiting for that part. The part came, you installed it, then we went out, and it was so fun. I mean, I loved it, and
I've been working on this boat for a long time now. It was 2 summers ago I bought this boat, and then the first 3 months of that first summer, I spent 3 months on the boat in Savannah, trying to get it into a condition that I could get it to a boatyard to continue working on it. And you know, the fuel tank was filled with water, and the injection pump needed to be rebuilt, and these are all things that I had to figure out. And so I spent 3 months in the slip in a marina in Savannah, and at the end of that, I started to realize that the injection pump was the reason that the engine was having so much trouble. So I sent that injection pump away, and I left that winter, and I didn't come back until the next summer. And then and then last summer I came back to Savannah where the boat was, and I spent another 3 months in the slip getting the boat ready. And then finally I thought, you know, it's good enough that I could make it through the state of Georgia on the ICW, and I thought I could make it to this boatyard, which is in St. Mary's, Georgia. And it's one of the only boatyards, I guess. Well, there's not very many boatyards that let you come to it and work on your own boat. So that was kind of the reason I had to make it to this particular boatyard, because I could live on my boat in the marina and do the bottom job and everything else. I redid all the through holes and the bottom job, and just kind of getting it into to the point where I can actually go sailing, you know, particularly in the ocean and stuff. So I'm excited.
A cool boatyard. I mean, being around this community is really cool. I mean, everyone helping each other, friendly, and you know, it's been fun as a mom watching the connections that you've made in such a short period of time. You know, where have you been? And then them watching them come back, and then you connecting with them, and that's so cool. I love it, and a little, you know, envious of the community that you've built in such a short period of time.
Yeah, some of the people that were in the boatyard with me, they were able to leave, and they did, you know, a couple months in the Bahamas and came back already. But I've still been kind of stuck in this area getting my furling system working, and now I've got kind of one more problem, but I think I'll be able to fix it. It's just there's a little bit of air escaping from the from one of the injectors. So if you hold your hand above the injector, you feel this puff of air every time it fires, and it makes the engine sound really bad. And so I've got one of those, like the seal, there's an insulator, and then there's like a copper washer that I got to put on there, and I'm hoping that fixes it. And yeah, so the reason my mom really came out here is to take my car, because I didn't want to leave it here. And you know, once I leave and really start moving this boat, because I plan on going north and probably trying to escape the storms and the heat maybe a little bit, and I've actually never been to New York, so I kind of want to go up there and experience it from that perspective of on the water, and maybe make it all the way up to New York and the Chesapeake, and that'd be really cool. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler up there this summer.
Which I know, so I leave tomorrow, and I've been here a week, and I know driving off with your car is going to be very, I mean, I feel like I'm leaving you in a vulnerable position, and yet I know that this is what you're wanting, but it's scary.
Because it's costing me money
but not only
to leave it in the boatyard, but
you're making a big step of committing to this lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, when you're cruising and you're constantly moving the boat, then you don't really have a car, you know. I thought if I was gonna leave something here, I'd rather like buy a cheap motorcycle and leave it here. But
I hope you don't do
the
that.
car, it'll just degrade, you know, in the sun. So it's better that if you take it back to Wisconsin and not leave it here, and at least it's being used and not sitting. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of like, you know, it makes things a little bit harder, because you gotta got to go to certain places where you can get access to groceries and stuff. But
there's so many things that I think I never knew. The little things, the little steps that you have to do that you just don't think about it unless you're in this, living in this boat. The cooking and the planning the meals and then how you get the meal, your groceries here, the dinghy and loading them in and loading them, and then you've got Zach with you. And so it's quite a.
And I get Zach off the boat to land pretty much every day if I can. I mean, just when you're just cruising on the ICW and inland, then it's pretty easy. But a lot of times cruising guides can help you know where to go to have access to groceries and stuff like that. But it's always a challenge. But yeah, when you're going, you're constantly moving every day, or you might stay in one spot for a couple days, but a lot of people are just always on the move, going one direction.
And then we hopped over just on our little sail day, and I got to see, if I pronounce it correctly, Amelia's Island.
Amelia Island, yeah.
Oh my goodness! And so when I think about that, of all the wonderful little hops that you're going to experience, all these little, towns and marinas and places. I mean, I think that it's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to go up there. I've never been to New York, and I saw somebody else on their YouTube channel. They spent a lot of time there getting off the boat and going and walking around New York, and I just thought that would be cool. Yeah. And the whole thing with the Statue of Liberty, and so I hope that I hope this boat stays strong and the engine doesn't explode or anything. I think it's kind of bulletproof, but once I get that fixed with it, and I hope that it'll last a little longer. I have been thinking about my next boat a little bit, and it seems like every day I'm looking at these boats, and now I'm kind of, when I first started doing this, I didn't really have a taste for boats, and I didn't really know what to look for in boats. And now, after being around boats for at least a little while, I'm starting to know. But
you're not getting attached to this one?
I like a lot of the old classic, but I am attached to it. But I like not. But I'd rather be in a nicer boat. But I like a lot of the old classic boats like Hans Christian and just stuff like that with the woodwork that they used to do in boats. But the problem with that is that they don't want to give you a loan for a boat that's older than, I think, 20 years. So you have to basically buy a boat. If you want to use a loan, you basically have to buy a boat that's newer than 2005. And so you're starting to get into a higher price range. Just to get a decent boat, you need $80,000, So a part of it is saving up the down payment, 20% or 10%, and then really buying that boat. But in the beginning, I didn't know what to buy. I wouldn't have known what I wanted in a boat, and so the thing in a cruising boat, the full keel, and you want a pretty good displacement, and just stuff like that, and just the stuff that makes it livable and nice enough that you want to live on it long term. But I didn't want to take on a big debt and not knowing, but I'm starting
that you would even like this. I mean,
that you would even like it, before taking on a debt. But I think I'm going to be doing this for a long time, and so I don't know when I'll buy another boat, but it will be at some point. If it's this year or next year, I'm not sure. I do want to kind of get a lot about. I've learned a lot very quickly, but I still have so much to learn about sailing and so much experience to gain. But I hope that I get a lot more experience out of this boat before I move on to my next one. But I have been looking at them.
Well, it's been fun, it's been a great week, and we saw dolphins, and I saw an alligator, and a new little fun town, and lots of, and it's been fun watching you with this community, and driving off tomorrow is a great leap of faith, and I'm very confident that you're going to do great. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks for watching my channel, guys, and this is just going to be a part of the video that I'm putting together. I filmed I've kind of, you know, it'll probably be a bit of some of the stuff in the boatyard and me working on the furling system and some of the sailing that I have done. But thanks for watching my channel, and if you have not liked and subscribed, please do that. It helps me out a lot, and it encourages me to keep making these videos. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Wait. Okay.
Jonathan, this is sick as hell. John.
Oh yeah, I know. I gotta clean that. It's an air fryer. Willie, let's go check your air fryer. Let's see how clean that is.
John.
Your air fryer's been worse.
No.
Yeah.
That's sick as hell.
I haven't used it in like a while. Is it like all moldy?
No, it's just full of crumbs.
Oh yeah, like every other air fryer in the plant. Okay, so let's clean this.
No. I just cleaned
It's a
that.
sink. How am I gonna do my dishes? This is inevitable.
But you don't have water.
Oh yeah, I do. It's better than this.
You want to wait? Let's just wait on that. Just wait on it.
This is not that bad.
Okay, let's just wait. We'll wait.
We'll have to take the audio out of that video.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna stop this video right there, and the footage that my next video will be about me leaving and going north and traveling up the coast, and a lot of it's gonna be on the ICW, but any chance that I get, I'm gonna be sailing, and probably some in the ocean as well if I think the sea state looks good and I get a good weather window. But my mom left and she took the car, and now it's time to go north. It's the beginning of June, and yeah, I kind of want to get out of here before it gets too hot and before the hurricanes come. But yeah, so once I start moving, I'm gonna be posting videos weekly. Thanks for following me, guys. If you want to follow me along on my journey. You know, like, subscribe. Thanks again.